Welcome back, everybody, to the Quake Pro League Week 5. I am 40 Lines, joined by the one and only Lethal. Lethal, it's always a pleasure. How are you?
It's always a pleasure, mate. Always, never a chore. And you know me, fabulous as always. And we've got some pretty damn good matches coming up this week.
Yeah, a sultry serving of 7 for this Saturday. But first, let's quickly talk about global challengers that happened last week. Mute the stream if you don't want to hear it. Spoilers. Give you 5 seconds. 5 seconds are up. CNZ took that one, so he punched his ticket back to the Quake World Finals. Couple months away. But now we have, I believe, Garpy and CNZ punching their way back. And now we can talk about Week 4 that happened 2 weeks ago. Do a little bit of a recap, Lethal, as we always do.
We always do indeed. And it's quite a display of skill we saw last week, didn't we? We saw Rafa continuing his rampage as we normally saw, and that was against Xron. And yeah, that was incredible stuff, like with the scorelines he's able to achieve. And the sad thing is for Xron, though, he does normally favour, the larger map pool, especially recently. But saying that, though, I think Blood Covenant was literally 12-0, so that's just thrown my idea out the window.
It was a little rough. It was a little rough. I mean, going up against Rafa always is, but yeah, this some of the maps closer than others, of course. But in the end, Rafa gets his way, and he actually goes 3-0 over Xron in that set.
Certainly does indeed. And going into the second game, Avik, I wouldn't say he struggled. I think it's more Strong Sage has been performing really well. Over the last 3 months, I've been keeping an eye on how he's been performing, how he's been doing in scrims, and just trying to display the best amount of skill possible to get ready for the Pro League. And he's put on a very good showing and a very good start. It could have gone either way on this Ruins game. Of course, the first one, he actually played quite convincingly, 14-7. Second map was 14-7 on Veil to Avik. But honestly, it could have been anyone's guess on how or what the outcome could have been on Ruins with Avik taking that.
Yeah, I mean, a strong debut from Strong Sage. And the clutch, something to look out for, and I think he's going to do just fine in this league, pushing Avik to his limits. But now we're flipping over to Maxter versus Chain. This one was a little bit closer as well, 2-1, but Maxter ends up taking this one.
Yeah, he certainly did indeed. Chain did win the final map 6-5 on Blood Covenant. But it was a little bit more one-sided on Awoken. I think there's something silly like 20-3. But if you play against Maxter on, anything which in terms of a small map, and it's just you have to compete against his combat skills and what he can do across the board of his adaptation, it's extremely tough to deal with. But Toxto also managed to get a clean sweep underneath his belt against Sib.
Yeah, Molten Falls was a little bit closer, but Sib not quite able to take out the Terminator. Not this time. Big dub for Tox 3-0, and he's looking pretty good. I mean, in the past, we've seen Tox kind of falter a little bit in near 7-8 minute mark of each map, but he's looking stronger and stronger and closing out the games, which, as a Tox fan, you love to see.
Love to see, indeed. And going over to Kilson now, this was also a clean sweep. It's just another day in the office for Kilson. But I will say from Sidegame, though, this season he's been looking very good on Corrupted Keep. And not just against Kilson, but other players as well in the Pro League in previous weeks. So, in terms of Corrupted Keep, this is a person you probably want to try and keep away from.
I feel like Sidegame has always kind of been a bit of a wild card in that he could just show up and do amazing things, or he can just kind of not really be as present as you'd like. So it's interesting to see kind of the evolution of Sidegame and what we're going to get throughout the season. But now, Wenger versus Dramas. This one was also another good one, 2-1 in favor of Wenger.
Yeah, Drummer's taken that one map on Molten Falls. He's always been very good on Molten Falls, but then again, this season's been a little bit peculiar in terms of stats and map picks, because there's been at least 3 or 4 players where statistically they've been extremely good at Molten Falls, and then going into the third map, we're like, okay, we'll see what Wenger can do to see if he can close this out, and when he won on Ruins 9-1. But RAISY versus Zen, again, another good matchup. Even though it was a clean sweep in favor of RAISY, it does not reflect the score in the slightest, because it was a lot close margins. It was 7-1 to keep, but it was very close on Molten Falls. But Ruins, though, sadly for Zen, it was the fact that RAISY came out on top 7-3. But, a lot of mind games in this matchup.
Yeah, a lot of mind games. Unfortunately, a team kill from Maestro, but a fantastic display from both players, looking very, very strong here as we take a look at the recap fully from Week 4. There you have it. Lots of action, and again, lots of action we have coming up today, Lethal. We're always blessed on a Saturday for Saturday morning Quake tunes. I love it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, even if I try. But yeah, those are the stats there. But I think a couple of players will be keeping an eye on, especially in the future in the league, like Strong Sage, especially with everything has been progressing. And he's progressing very, very quickly, considering what we've seen so far. Not just in results, because, like you said, it was his debut, but losing out 2-1 by the smallest of margins against, one of the highest ranked players here in the Pro League is a good feat in itself.
Yeah, and we're going to see a little bit of him later today, but starting off with our first set, it's going to be Xron versus RAISY. And what do you think about this one, just in name, before we even get into the pick bans, Lethal? Do you think Xron has the ability to take this away from RAISY? Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, it's going to be a question which will be asked, but I think the indicators will come out in that first map to decide. So, but it does depend on the map picks. We know that Xron does favour the larger map pool, but going into the other maps, the players rather, we do have Chain versus Kilson, Nos versus Zen. I think Dramus versus Strong Sage should be a particularly close matchup in itself, and Sygib and Sib also trying to add another W to their tally. But those matchups later on, Rafa versus Arik, very old school, Maxin series. It's going to be like an Aim God's heaven for anyone watching. Of course, adaptation will be in the process, probably a little bit favouring Max's side, but that last matchup in particular is going to be very spicy.
Yeah, two very spicy featured matches, but I like the middle right there, the juicy middle, Dramas versus Strong Sage. I think it's going to be a super aggressive battle because we know how Dramas likes to play, and we saw how Strong Sage likes to play. It'll come down to the picks, but I think that one will be super aggressive. That's what I'm here for. I want to see 30 to 40 scoreline, but we'll see. Again, we gotta rein it in a little bit, Lethal. We're getting too excited. It's going to be Xron and RAISY to start us off, which should be, again, there's a lot of aggression there that RAISY can just kind of at will deploy if he'd like. So I'm very interested to see kind of what the pick bans are and how these players are going to approach this matchup. And we'll see, maybe even a gauntlet to start off the day since RAISY's first up on the lineup.
You never know, mate. You never know. It is his trademark now, isn't it? Hopefully he's gone to his lawyers to make sure that is trademarked anyway. But looking at it so far, Blood Clan and Deep Embrace have been banned outright. First map is going to be on Veil. Then we'll be switching over to Molten Falls, and then the last map will be on Ruins. I do feel like for Xron, he's going to be quite happy with these map picks apart from Veil. As I said just a few minutes ago, he statistically has been playing a lot better in terms of the larger map pool. But what do you think of the champion picks coming into this?
Clutch. Why? I just don't get it. I mean, it's always a pleasure to see. I just don't understand why it's allowed, but I dig the scale ban. Scale ban's cool. Athena ban is a little interesting to me, but yeah, my eyes immediately go to that clutch and say, let's just skip to map 3 because I want to see it. But Veil should be good. Strog versus Eisen, I kind of like that lineup, and then the classic Nyx versus Anarchy. And yeah, again, my vote is map number 3. Let's just skip right to it. But Lethal, if you were to break this down and have a little bit of a prediction, which I'm sure chat can have right now, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, who do you think is going to take this one?
It should be RAISY 3-0. But the thing is, though, Molten Falls, it's a little bit dicey, isn't it? Because it's quite hard to solidify some of the frags on Molten Falls anyway, but the fact that now RAISY has to face up against the Nyx, all I can say is that Xron better hope rather, that he's got those Ghost Walks in his back pocket for those offensive purposes and that get out of jail free card, because it's not going to be easy. And you can see he's banned the Athena just to give himself a little bit of extra insurance, but of course RAISY's next best pick is going to be Anarchy, which is perfectly understandable. So I would say a 3-0, but the Molten Falls is a little bit of a question mark.
Yeah, I'm just furious that there's not a Keel pick in here, but that's fine. I'll just die on that soapbox on that hill
Never
for the
a
rest
Keel.
of my life. It's fine, yeah. It's terrible. But looking at the predictions from chat, they are heavily in favor of RAISY, at least for map number 1. 98% and counting. You're all just rude, really. It's just put some respect on Xron's name. How dare you?
I'm not surprised. He's got Eisen, he's got Veil, and he's banned the scale. So it's got everything he needs, Willie. He's got all the goodies, but you don't really see Strog used that often on Veil, do you? So that's probably why it's probably gone from like 95% more pushing to the 98, 99. But can you blame him at this point? He's RAISY after all.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely RAISY. No disrespect to him. I just feel like Xron deserves a little bit more respect. But yeah, Strog on Veil. Yeah, there we go. There we go. We're climbing. We're manipulating markets. Yeah, Strog on Veil, a little bit tougher. It's a little bit interesting. You can't really get the momentum that you can on other maps, but you know, that sweet slurm that you can get or whatever. I don't know. Blood Vials is what I'm talking about, Lethal. So maybe that's kind of the play there. And you do get the mobility, but it'll be interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, you're still going up against RAISY. So God help you, Xron, but we'll see. We'll see. I just feel like it should be a little bit more even. That's all. That's all I'm saying, all right? Yeah. Nobody cares what I say, either. I mean, I don't.
I don't really care what either of us say. I think we've accepted that. It's perfectly fine. We'll try and sway the channel
okay
points.
With that.
I'm fine. I'm just fine. But
I mean, it's important to note Xron is having a rough road. He's 0-4. It's a rough start. He's had some pretty hard games against great opponents, and RAISY is going to be, you know, nothing easier. So it's just been a tough start for Xron. And, you know, you wonder when he's going to turn it around, if at all. And against RAISY, tall order, Lethal. A little bit unfortunate.
Yeah, it really is. And of course, yeah, like I said, Strog does have that mobility, but with the verticality of how the map works, I don't think RAISY's going to be too phased by it, of course. You know, you can just set up control. Once he's got a couple kill lead, and it's just basically his territory. It's his way to try and at least establish even more authority. Obviously, of course, with the Strog, it can be a little bit more difficult to hit depending on the circumstances, but he does have the Pika for added bonus damage, or of course, for that making those info plays anyway. But like I said, with the verticality of it, you don't really need to make too much of a read, nonetheless, with those audio cues. So it's going to be debatable, but I do feel like RAISY, in terms of the champion picks, is quite heavily favoured here. But I'm hoping, like I said, hopefully Xron can prove me completely wrong, because that's what I'd love to see. But with RAISY, though, tall order, big ask.
I'm just eyeballing the predictions and they don't get any better.
It's just stayed the same, isn't it? We've tried our best.
It's brutal. At this point, you might as well just throw a little bit on Xron, just because you could win a proverbial mansion on Twitch through these predictions, because it's so one-sided. But yeah, I mean, it is RAISY. He is probably one of the most consistent players we've seen in terms of finals. Countless second places, which I know hurts. But to be able to get to that point, usually through lower bracket, you're usually gassed, and he still is able to get second over and over again. Maybe this year's going to be the year that he's able to raise the belt. But he's just consistency is key with RAISY, and I think that is synonymous with his name at this point. But Xron, I mean, you're 0-4, you got nothing to lose. This is kind of a no pressure situation, isn't necessarily the way to put it, but if the predictions are going this way anyway, and whatever, like, just play your best and see what happens. I mean, what are you gonna do, right? What's the worst that can happen if everyone already thinks that you may not win this?
Yeah, because if you look at it from Xron's POV in terms of the table standings, he's already gone into week 5, and if he wants to solidify one of those top 8 spots to, you know, avoid the groups and go straight into day 2, then the only thing he can do now is, against some of the top dogs, maybe just try and scrape a map just to edge it a little bit more further towards the higher up on the leaderboard, and then anyone on the lower end of the table, just to try and solidify those 3-0s, 2-1, something like that. But he needs to start performing at the best of his capability now, or else you will see him day 1. But I don't mind that, because we'll see Xron every single day, so I don't mind either way.
Yeah, and we are just getting the players ready. Sorry for the delay. I kicked something again with my big fat feet.
Always
and also, consistency is not a backhanded compliment. How dare you, Chad? I'm honest when I say he's consistent, and he just has to go through the lower bracket every grand finals, and he's usually gassed, and then it comes down to the pick bans. That's all I'm saying. I would never backhandedly compliment a player in the Quake Pro League. How dare you kick ban that person? I'm just kidding. It's fine. We're loading into map number 1 shortly here, Lethal. I heard the noise, and we're going to get this underway. Week 5 of the Quake Pro League.
Lovely. It is crazy thinking about it now, and obviously everyone knows us watching the Quake Pro League, just how overdue RAISY is of a Quake Championship victory. Like, so overdue, it's not even funny at this point. And, you know, I'm hoping this time round he knows full well that he's had so many chances, he's been to so many grand finals. The losers bracket has basically been his best friend at every Quake World Championship, and, you know, this is a time for him to shine and try and at least make it happen this time round. It's like you said, he's got all the consistency in the world. He's got incredible offensive and defensive balance to make the correct plays all the time in the champion picks. But yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see as time goes down the line.
1 week at a time, 1 map at a time. We're grinding through. Week 5 here will be underway shortly between Xron and RAISY to kick us off on Vale. And yeah, this might be the year. Who knows, Lethal? Who knows?
But with Xron, he has moved to 5% in terms of the channel points, so we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Not too bad. It could have been a lot worse. Could have been 3% here. As speaking of the devil, switch to the man himself from Xron's POV. Pretty early on. Heavy has been picked up earlier on, but the Mega has been heavily delayed and picked up by RAISY.
Love the split now. Xron playing it slow. And Holy Trinity just waiting to go through the telly, and yep. He is well aware that he has to be, ooh, okay, almost a nice rail. He has to be careful of Timmy here. The setups from RAISY be absolutely punishing, getting caught in the middle. Knight at the Roxbury, out comes the Peeker, a little bit of damage, forcing him off the Heavy, at least temporarily here. But RAISY goes for the jump, and he actually gets railed off, and there's the first frag to Xron. That's some fantastic defense at the Heavy.
I did say as well before the series started, but against some of these top dogs, needs to try and scrape a map or two. He can, and of course, whoever's lower end of the table towards the end of the season to start backing those clean sweeps to try and secure himself a top 8 spot. It's Xron now finding his time here. Let's listen out for the audio cues. He's in the info play at the moment, but his back was turned. Let's take down the turret, but RAISY does hit the first rail, hits the second, but he's going to try and get the Heavy, which he manages to. Scarpa's away, lucky for him. There's that light above the Mega to pick up as he sees fit, but he's already there. Picks up the Mega at the same time, comes up the LG. Would about to clean up with the Pika, he does not, and RAISY still comes out on top with that last rail.
That is heartbreaking. Xron was able to muscle his way onto both items again and almost get the frag, but that little trampoline play from RAISY, just distracting enough to hit those rails. Oh, big rockets and another one! Xron, what are you doing?
Yeah, his tracking was really good, but the rockets were just that much better. Nice direct, though, as Crawler's going to dive on in 3-1. I think the people who are voting 6% in the chat are probably loving this right now.
Do you see? Sorry. It's still very early, 2 minutes in. Some of the plays that RAISY has been making seems to be kind of testing Xron. Like the first frag where he was jumping for the heavy a little bit willy-nilly. I feel like he was just testing Xron like, okay, all right, are you going to hit your shots? What am I dealing with in this game? Plenty of time to stabilize here. As Xron has to forfeit the heavy here. Looking a little bit light on stack, needs to be careful. Nice shoulder peek there to avoid the rail. Hits a rail of his own, but he's going to get gunned down by the machine gun to 14 HP. Can he make it through the telly? And he does. But the Mega's 3 seconds away. Is RAISY going to push this? There's the turret. That's a terrifying sight, but it doesn't deploy in time. So even after the Mega pick up a little bit of damage, 78 HP. Xron in a bad way, hits a rail on the way out. Could hit another one here. Around the corner, he's going to miss the shotgun. Won't come out in time. RAISY plants him.
Could have made it 4. RAISY hits that first rail. Still weak from the previous engagement. Heavy is up, though. Xron is going to give that up straight away as RAISY's looking to continue the healing process. Mega is up. Of course, now that Xron is quite away, well, not too far away, actually. You may be able to hear the audio cues from that Mega. Not anymore, though, as he's actually delayed it quite heavily here, just massively throwing the timing off. May have heard that from below Rocket. It says he's got a huge stack to work with. Heavy's come up in the next few seconds. Turret in his back pocket as well. Timmy's going to come out to play in case he goes for the TP. This is looking really solid here from RAISY as he catches him in that rocket room. Great tracker with that LG. It's going to make that 3 apiece.
Right, all at 3. Has to worry about Timmy. Big damage. Right into the barrel here. Is able to grab a light armor, but still, right off the spawn. Taking so much damage. RAISY trying to lob some tri-bolt. Xron with some delightful dodging there.
It certainly was indeed. As RAISY now, 10 seconds to his next heavy, just getting into position. We can see if he can find out exactly the circumstances and what Xron's actually up to right now. Drops to Timmy drops to Tay. It's technically the same thing anyway, as he's diving on forward with that LG. But he's going to try and rail him again if he can, but he's run out of rail ammo. He has to back away once again, pick up the light. Mega's up in the next 5. And you can see already Xron is just was T2 on the edge to try and push on forward, but decided not to in the end. But it's understandable considering the stack he just had. But picks up the Mega anyway.
Almost getting an attempt at a rail angle from down below. Xron now playing from the low ground. Very difficult here. Gets a little bit of LG damage as RAISY drops. Good rockets, though. Can't hit with the rail. Does hit with the follow-up as RAISY jumps. Almost looking for an angle. RAISY had to be very careful there. And so Xron holding his own, all things considered. Tied 3-3 halfway through this one, looking pretty decent. And it's all level, Lethal.
Yeah, no, he's been looking really good, and that 62 from the last rocket's not going to do him any favors, though. He's going to continue on that recovery road. It's halfway stage. And you're right, though. Xron has been playing extremely well so far. He's had a very good start. He's not let anything spiral out of control, which a lot of players can not doing against RAISY. RAISY hit the first rail. Xron's just trying to get away. Not going to be able to before he gets the TP. And look at that, though. RAISY's still got a massive stack. And I say about spiraling out of control, he may have just took the word right out of my mouth. He may actually start doing that right now as he's going to take over the rail and the LG to boot beforehand. Goes to turret in early on, poor Timmy there, as a couple more rockets is coming out to play. So he's going to dive on in, try and get this sick frag. But Xron managed to come back on that and picks up the heavy.
That is insane. 1 HP. The Vial able to heal him up a little bit more. There's a little bit more health bubbles. And RAISY just trying to go crazy and plant him with a rail, but he can't and has to be very careful. He threw his body at the problem. Xron able to stack back up a little bit here. And he's going to be in position for the next Mega. So this one still in favor of RAISY, but Xron looking very strong with the stack here, is able to get the rotation on the heavy as well. This one is far from over, Lethal.
Yeah, it certainly is indeed. I was just a little bit worried that Xron might actually end up struggling to break RAISY's momentum, but he seems to be doing quite well so far and holding his own, and he's only, oh, he's going to be so weak at this point, but he's trying to use the peak if he can, as RAISY's dropped all the way to the bottom. Good direct, oh, the rail comes out for RAISY, though, he left on 20 HP, and Mega coming in perfect timing.
The amount of damage that Xron is able to do, though, he's so close. That's a great rail from RAISY. Just back and forth haymakers from both players there. A little bit of rocket splash from down below. RAISY trying to position for this next heavy, and Xron Tri-bolt into rail. Fantastic combo, still trailing by 1, but again, he's able to battle back and keep this close.
Yeah, it certainly is indeed. Xron's going to be greeting him.
Wow.
Ram Rockets has to back away once again. Mega is up though, so absolutely no need to pursue as of yet. He's ducking and diving at the moment, just trying to pin RAISY down, but it's got height advantage, got height control. In perfect prime position for this heavy, but didn't actually expect it there, but he's going to get LG'd at the same time. Whilst he's going to try and take him out if he can, but the trade! Heavy still up, it's going to depend on the spawn, as RAISY actually spawned on LG, and looks like Xron actually managed to, able to sneak and get that heavy. He hasn't got the weapons in his arsenal, but does have the rockets, and he realises this. Needs to try and back away if he can.
Decent rocket on the way out, but weapon choice, a little bit sus, and RAISY able to swap to the machine gun to get that, but again, decent damage done on the way out. And a great rail before RAISY can get through the telly. Xron keeping this close, RAISY just holding on by a thread. Decent rocket damage here as Xron flying through, sliding in RAISY's DMs. He's able to control the heavy yet again. Mega's going to be up next, and RAISY looks like he has to concede due to the stack. And Timmy has really been nothing more than a bullet sponge this whole game, the poor thing. He's like, Father, why? But still, 2 minutes left. Rail from Xron again! So clutch.
What a way to start this week off, though. Still only 1 frag behind. Got a slight stack advantage as well. Things are going extremely well. And with this heavy, we could see it all tied up and maybe go to sudden death, depending on the scenario which Xron is going to be able to place himself in. This is looking pretty damn good so far. 10 seconds until this next Mega. Tri-bolt comes out from RAISY, backing away once again. Will be greeted in the end as he dives in for that rail.
What a rail!
And he comes in again, come out with the peak. It's going to be chasing him. He needs to go through to try and stop him getting this Mega. He does stop him, so even if he doesn't take him out, he's kept him away from the item, which is hugely important here. And he will be there in time for the heavy also.
What a way to start week 5, map number 1 between these two. The door opens, the rail just missing out. RAISY trying to defend the heavy, but he knows it's not worth it. Up by a frag, he's just gonna try and hold on to this lead. Less than a minute left, all the pressure on Xron. He has control of the map, he has the stack, he has the weaponry. He's just gotta find RAISY, and there it is, that defense right there. Timmy and Rockets chipping away at Xron's stack. Xron gonna be able to cycle at least 1 more Mega and heavy. Wait, there's the cutoff down in the Thunderdome. RAISY needs to be careful. 2 rails. And now the hunt is on. Lethal, he's gonna leave the items up. I love this play, but good defensive rail from RAISY. Takes out the peeker as well, and Xron has to run now. He has to cycle the items. His stack looking way too light. But he does have the time to be able to grab both and go for 1 more attack to try and tie this.
Oh, he was tempted, and he got it as well. He's got a little bit of damage done. A good rocket, last rocket there. They're both so equally weak. He's looking to try and drop him down and finish the job. Will he be able to? Yes, he does. 16 HP. The heavy's been up for such a long time as well. If he can try and recuperate, but the things are RAISY comes straight back with the LG. And the heavy was up for so long, but of course, you can see that Xron wanted to prioritize the frag, and RAISY was just trying to get away for dear life, trying to back away once again. And RAISY's got the much bigger stack here for you.
Oh man, my heart can't take it. I tell you what, brother. Rocket's taking out Timmy now as we are in sudden death officially. First map in the first set. So much LG damage. This is too much. RAISY going in for the kill right now. Wow. Heavy's gonna be up, but it's gonna be tricky. No, RAISY's not there to contest. Xron lives again. Decent rocket damage from down below, but very sketchy fight here as he has to fight from down below. Mega's gonna be up and Timmy's deployed. This is gonna be suicide if Xron goes for it, and he does, and he's taking so much damage. Escapes with 15 HP. What a risk.
Oh my God, I'm surprised he even got away with that as well. But RAISY still there, hits a beautiful rail. Of course, isn't available as of yet. Heavy's up in the next 7 seconds. Still looking to try and recover from the last engagement. Good rail as well. It could come to this final shot here.
Oh my God,
he needs to try and stop and go for the heavy, but of course he's not going to go for it straight away. Still 1 minute to sudden death, and Timmy's still trying to finish the job as well as he's pushing through from that TP. As RAISY has to circulate once again. across to that rail room. And look at this, Xron's going to be the one with that stack advantage going after all that situation. The items are still both segregated by about 7 seconds, and Xron now is on the hunt. But RAISY needs to be extremely careful with Xron's accuracy with the rail so far, and do not underestimate the angles he's going to pick him from.
Absolutely insane first map for the first set of the day here, as Xron will not go down. He refuses. And all of Twitch chat collectively clinched right now as they are going to lose their empire potentially here. Great rail from RAISY there. Xron waiting down below on the mid-level. Can't really contest. Will fire a rocket and make his way out of there. 150 into OT. Tied at 8 between these two.
Ridiculous stuff here. RAISY just walking by around Tri-Bolt to see what he can find. Hasn't found anything as of yet, but will get the info now he requires. As Xron now just does have high advantage, but he managed to spook him out from that last Tri-Bolt shot. Oh, good amount of damage as well. But I love this as well from Xron. Not being too overly aggressive. He's been very patient for that pick onto heavy. Xron now run out of rockets, but still got LG in hands. Only got one rail bullet left as well, but he's collectively managed to get those rockets anyway. Going to see if he's going to come through from that rocket tunnel, but greeted by the turret, and RAISY's up there as well. He may have to try and get away again. Of course, he hasn't got the stack to continue this bout. He's looking to see if he can catch him through the turret, but I love this from Xron. Just playing mind games with RAISY at the moment, just making him think that he's got a little bit more stack to work with and just trying to keep him at bay with those rockets to not go through the TP, as RAISY just barely missed that last rail. We're now 3 minutes into sudden death.
Xron needs more rails. He had the lineup, as we've seen time and time again, to knock RAISY off trajectory, jumping for the heavy, but unfortunately ran out. So now Tri-Bolt lobbing from the nail room, avoiding damage. Still does not have time to re-up here as he wants to maintain position, maintain the height. There's the jump pad, taking some Tri-Bolt damage as RAISY drops back down. There's the Timmy. Xron has to be careful. 59 HP after that Tri-Bolt damage. The items are synced, and now Xron in a bad way here is the rocket jump from RAISY to try and claim both items, and he will. And now Xron has to live off the scraps. This is where it gets very, very difficult, Lethal. Can he hit the rails that he needs? RAISY has the stack if he wants to rocket jump. There it is. Decent rockets. He's going in for the kill. There's the peeker. There's the rocket. RAISY able to take him down. Finally squash Xron, but what a display of defense from Xron. And I feel like, again, that's worth more than the 7% or whatever that he had. What a first game to start us off for week 5. Wow.
That was ridiculous. 57% for rail for Xron, and RAISY 55%. RAISY picked up 21 items, and I just missed it, but I think Xron actually picked up 27 in the end. That's ridiculous stuff from both these players. And yeah, first map, first series of this week. It's not too shabby.
What a way to start.
It's all right. It's all right. I bet everyone on the 94% train for RAISY was, looking a little bit nervous with that last few moments.
Sweating bullets. It looks like they were sitting in a sauna out there.
You're not wrong. No, you're not wrong at all. And you have to admit, though, yeah, you were talking about Xron's defense at one stage. Yeah, like, considering he almost won that last engagement with the stack RAISY had picking up both those items, ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely insane. I think it's safe to say that Xron started off with decent item control. RAISY able to battle his way back. We saw a little bit of aggression off the spawn from RAISY as well, but Xron was always able to do enough damage to make sure it didn't get out of control. Only 1 or 2 frags trailing, and then, of course, the amazing sudden death play that we saw there. But just really good defense from Xron. I think that's going to fare well for him throughout the set. But we'll see. I mean, every map is different. We're going to get into Molten Falls here shortly. It's going to be Nyx versus Anarchy. This was a little bit of a chess match. First, it started off like a brawl, then we hit sudden death, a little bit of a chess match. And in the end, RAISY was able to overcome the odds and finally take down Xron, but Xron made him work so hard for it.
Yeah, this season, Xron has actually been looking quite good on like the larger scale maps, especially on Molten Falls and Blood Covenant. But the fact that he performed this well on Veil, it shows how much improvement he's made over the last couple of weeks. As you can see from the stats, as already mentioned, 57% rail from Xron, and RAISY just shy off to 55.5%. Ridiculous stuff from both these players. Definitely made RAISY work for it, fully.
Yeah, absolutely insane first game for this set. Again, we're loading up shortly for Molten Falls, making sure the players are ready to go. They might need a little bit of a breather after that one. Don't blame them at all. 9-8, the final score. RAISY able to overcome Xron. But in terms of Nyx versus Anarchy on Molten Falls, how do you feel like this will play out? Who do you like in this matchup? What champ do you prefer? Lethal, tell me everything about you. What's your sign?
Oh, this is a little bit of a question mark for me because Nyx can be used so efficiently on Molten Falls. We know it's hard to solidify, a frag now and again, depending on which situation you place yourself in on Molten Falls anyway. But the fact that he has that Ghost Walk as well, it's just going to make things extremely tough. But you know that RAISY is going to be contesting those hourglasses just as much as he is, of course, with the inject. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how he's going to try and progress. I think that's why the Athena ban was specific, just so that he can use the Nyx play as well. I think we've seen Wenger use the Nyx before on Molten Falls, and he was extremely good with the Nyx play in the past. So there's no reason why Xron can't do it himself on this map.
We'll see. I mean, first map was pretty fantastic. It was down to the wire, really. I mean, I don't even know if it was a misplay trying to deploy that peeker and do max amount of burst damage, but, kind of just let him out to dry, and RAISY was able to overcome it based on the stack he had with his LG. We'll see how map 2 plays out. We are loading in shortly, and it will be Molten Falls Nyx versus Anarchy. But let me take a look at the predictions, and still not a lot of respect on Xron's name. 10%, 90% in favor of RAISY on this one, so they just don't want to believe, Lethal. The children out there just don't want to believe. I don't know why. What more do you want?
Well, it's got to 12% now. It's getting better. I've seen worse percentages. Trust me, we've seen some worse percentages. We haven't seen 100% yet, but
that's true.
One day that could actually come. As we're gonna now go to Xron's POV, see what shenanigans he's gonna be up to. Found him straight away with that shotgun. You can use the Ghost Walk straight away, and just gonna let RAISY get away as well. Hasn't got the LG, of course, yet, but let's have the rockets and the rail to play with. Will be greeted by that first rail hit. And does get the hourglasses as spoken about earlier, as both of them will be contesting them very heavily for the inject and Ghost Walk later on. And I think we are going to see probably a slower matchup this time around.
Yeah, definitely might be more of a chess match starting instead of a brawl, just given the map and the champs themselves. But Xron doing a good job. Sure is prioritizing items, and nice little dodge. There's the rocket, just unfortunately clips the pole there for RAISY, looking for big damage. Decently slow start for both players here. Xron trying to play a little bit of a trap here on the rockets. Nice rail.
Yeah, not too shabby at all. Just teaching around rail to see where RAISY's going to be, but a nice little sprinkle of damage there from that last rocket. Does pick up the Mega. If he's not too far behind for a couple of seconds, as Xron now looking to try and get a bit more height control, but RAISY's already there around shotgun. Try and walk around, see if we can catch him with that rocket. RAISY was favouring the LG, but now he's got rockets in hand, uses the Ghost Walk, but he also uses the inject just in case. He's backing away once again to recover from that last engagement.
Ooh, look at the patience from Xron on that one to line up the rail perfectly. Not really a huge deal given the fact that RAISY was able to drop down on the Mega, but Xron able to grab the heavy, and here's a big attack from RAISY. That rocket almost sends Xron flying over the edge. Luckily clips the Great. Doesn't go anywhere. 2 minutes in, tied at 0. Again, more of a chess match like we thought. Between these two champs, this is kind of what's wrong with the youth, Lethal. Ghosting, drugs, where does it end? But anyways, 0-0 here is Xron again playing very patiently. Has the Ghost Walk in case things go horribly wrong, but mostly looking to set a trap and just get that burst damage on that Anarchy.
Yeah, he certainly is indeed. Both items are up as Xron with the audio cue for the heavy. RAISY will not have it for the Mega, so we'll see how that's going to continue to unfold later on if he does decide to contest the Mega later. But Xron, is taking a back seat at the moment, mate. He's got a deck chair, just waiting for RAISY to drop and by to wave a quick hello and just see exactly what's going on. But for now, they're playing it very smart, very slow, nothing really too out of the ordinary as of yet. But Xron is just taking his sweet, sweet time.
Yeah, that position is so powerful because you can hear the armor pickup, you could time it well, and then he knew when the Mega was. So a little bit of a delay between the two items, but now he can kind of know for sure when the armor is and kind of plan his attack accordingly as the rails from both players fly out. Doesn't land, a little bit of tribal damage, but Xron gets the best of him with 2 rails now. Potentially a third here on the way out. Just around the corner goes RAISY. And now Xron, we see he's going to press this heavy. Try and make his presence known. There's a little bit of rocket damage, not so great, and he has to pop the Ghost Walk, and this has actually gone horribly wrong. Up the jump pad, RAISY doesn't want to follow, luckily for Xron. He has to make a mad dash to the Mega to try and restack, and I like the idea, but unfortunately the execution wasn't there, Lethal.
It certainly wasn't indeed. Xron had the shotgun on the shotgun jump on the heavy jump pad at the time. But now just rotating all the way around. He knows where RAISY is. Double checking, making sure that it's not literally on the heavy itself, but just going to be diving for that Mega, which is going to be up the next couple of seconds. But RAISY's already here. May have to force out an engagement, which he does. Picks up the Mega. Perfect timing. Good direct as well. Looks the back way again, but the problem is he's way too weak to continue that battle. But RAISY's more up for it, more than anything. 8 HP, just teetering on the edge, hugging that wall. There's both of them just equally as weak. It's been an extremely close affair between the two.
He needs rockets, swap to rail, hit the defensive shot he needed, and then Ghost Walk was available to try and save his life. And again, the defense from Xron. Not impenetrable, but just enough to keep RAISY out and squared at 0.
For the TP, picks up the shotty, but of course he's got one, just looking to try and rotate around to LG to see if he can catch him. Hits the third shot, but so does RAISY. RAISY's missed the second though. He's trying to keep him back with that tri-bolt, but he's got to be very... Oh, 18 HP, a huge amount of tri-bolt damage. This Ghost Walk needs to pop now. He doesn't use it. You remember that RAISY, of course, didn't even use the inject either. He still had that in his back pocket. As heavy is up, he's diving for that Mega as RAISY does get away for now. Heavy is still up, and is going to be picking that up.
Nice wall jump, but good rockets and good tracking from RAISY to make sure the damage output is as high as possible. A little bit of tribal trying to flush Xron out from behind the pillar. Shotgun from above, and finally, the Ghost Walk able to come out. But he is very, very weak, and that's an easy one right there. RAISY with a nice read, knowing that he needs to re-up on health. He's able to go up 2-0. And now you're starting to get into the point of the map, the match, where as a Nyx, you're slowly behind. RAISY's gaining momentum. That's a good defensive rail. RAISY's going to keep chugging. There's another one, making him pay. If he hits a third, RAISY has to rethink this situation, and he does. RAISY was just like, can you hit another one? Can you hit a third? And now here comes the chase from Xron. He wants to end it. There's another rail. Can he hit another one? Around the corner he goes, and the shotgun blast. Able to take him out, and RAISY just showing a little too much face there.
He certainly did indeed. He needs to be careful though, because RAISY's coming straight in for that heavy just in the nick of time, but he's on the warpath here.
Oh!
And RAISY's going to clean up with the LG, making that 3-1 here for you.
Merciful God, killed him before he went to the pits of Rafa. It's LG on LG, the tracking a little bit off kilter for Xron, as RAISY's able to plant him yet again, 4-1. Good rail though. Mega's going to be up, and he's also going to have the inject, so should be fine. Injects just in case Miracle Rail comes out, and he claims the Mega. So RAISY looking pretty good, but another great defensive rail from RAISY. Trying to keep it close, but there's the LG, just absolutely electrifying from RAISY there, going up the jump pad. And with 3 minutes left, it looks to be slightly out of control. Oh my God, that dodge.
Oh, must have dodged that one again. Wasn't as good as last one, though, as he's on the hunt, and this is the problem for Nyx as well, of course. Now that RAISY has the lead and the mobility, of course, Xron does have that Ghost Walk, but if he guesses the right path, then Xron's obviously going to be in a spot of bother here for you, but he's already in a spot of bother already. He could make this a sick frag if he gets his last rocket in. Doesn't the inject if things go a little bit skew with, but it doesn't matter. 6-1 in favor of RAISY. Picks up the heavy as well, still has that inject. Looking like this could be a second map victory here, heading towards RAISY.
Oh my God, the buckshot up close. Unfortunate there. Jump pad play, unfortunately for Xron, he just could not swat the fly that is Anarchy. And now 7-1, firmly in RAISY's favor. And I think I saw Sirius in the chat, and I think he was violently vomiting at some of that LG battle that he saw. He was
I
like,
know
what
what
am I
one he
seeing?
meant.
Yeah, this is disgusting. Why are they showing this on Twitch? But anyways, also YouTube. 7-1 in favor of RAISY, looking a little bit stronger on this go. But again, as a Nyx, if you fall behind, it is extremely difficult. Xron doing his best with his defensive rails, but just not able to overcome the constant onslaught of RAISY.
RAISY now extremely confident, but it's only for Xron. He had didn't have a huge amount of opportunities, but he definitely kept it extremely tight knit as we've got 90 seconds left remaining. Not really much Xron to do now at this point. try and look forward going into that third map, which will be on Ruins, as RAISY is just continuing to unleash absolute chaos and mayhem here as he's just going to chase behind him. Manages to wall jump away from that, but that's just going to delay the inevitable. Sorry, the inevitable for now. Minutes and left remaining here. Thought it's just last orders here.
Yeah, unfortunate, but the defense crumbled. Again, as a Knicks, it's just so hard to get back in the game when we're already down 2-3. And there it is. That one was a bit of a layup, but we did see the gauntlet. It happened. Whoever had the prop predictions for that one. Very, very rich person right now. Another rail from RAISY. He might go in for another one. A little bit of inject. Yep, he's doing it. Nope! Nobody makes me bleed my own blood, Lethal. That's what Xron just said. He stared him in the eyes and said, I'm going to take this into my own hands.
Yeah, I'll leave him one, but not two. That's just taking the mickey a little bit as he's going to ghost walk away. Maybe able to get his first frag back. Maybe not. It's got 25 seconds left, but yeah, we've already mentioned it. Damage has been done. Does not reflect the score at all from what we've seen during those first 5 or 6 minutes. It was a great map nonetheless for you. It's a great map nonetheless, as we're just going to finish things up here. It will be 9-0, maybe 9-1 or 10-0, depending on how far Xron is going to take. But no, he's going to leave it there. That's going to be 9-0 in favour of RAISY. We'll be switching over to Ruins for the Galena versus Clutch matchup. Interesting in itself.
You gotta love it. I mean, Xron was like, I'm just gonna go chill with Rafa instead of letting you gauntlet me again. So I gave you the one. That one's free, no more. So yes. Yeah, it's enough. We've had enough. This is graphic display of violence. 9-0, again, a little bit misleading there, but still, I think it was a decent set. Xron played his best, but once you break through that defense, especially as a Knicks, it's kind of what happens, especially against a RAISY who's not afraid to keep the aggression on, Lethal. That's 2 in a row for RAISY going into the third. Does Xron have anything left in the tank to try and play? Because it's not even that it's, you just lost 2 maps, you're a little disoriented, whatever. He's going up against Clutch, of all people, too. So it's just like, this is the worst case scenario after losing 2 maps in a row, and you have to deal with RAISY's Clutch now. It just never ends.
Yeah, it's just a shame about that first frag from RAISY. Oh, don't get me wrong, good stuff from RAISY, of course, to make the read to the contestor heavy straight afterwards, but in terms of not using that ghost walk around the heavy earlier on, I'm interested to see why he did not use it. Maybe he was trying to save it for the better situation. Maybe he wasn't expecting RAISY to dart on in straight away from the LG stairs. It's quite interesting in itself. But yeah, there we go. He just sees that.
That should be in the top 10. Not that I have any say in what production does, but that should be in the top 10, in my opinion. But we're looking at the breakdown for the accuracies here and the scoreline for map number 2. Multiples between these two. 9-0. And yeah, RAISY looking really strong. Again, I feel like that score is not very fair to Xron. He was playing good defense. It is a hard matchup, especially after map number 1 that was so close. 3.5 minutes and sudden death. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. The final score is what matters. So RAISY taking the set officially 2-0. Potentially working on a clean sweep as we take a look. 9-9. Who wants to predict that maybe he'll get 9 frags on Ruins? I don't know, but I'm very excited to see the clutch come out.
Yeah, I'm certainly am indeed. And for anyone joining us during that second map of his series, they're probably thinking, what on earth happened? Like, in terms of, they probably missed out on probably one of the best first mappers in the first series of the day we've had. That 3 or 4 minutes sudden death overtime, that's ridiculous. And yeah, it's like I say, with some scorelines, you get it like that. Sometimes it can be 9-0, 20-0, but sometimes it will not reflect what we saw from there because Xron played extremely well. It's just, of course, the decision on Heavy not using that Ghost Walk is probably a little bit debatable, we'll have to say. I'd love to know from his thoughts anyway. But yeah, going to this third one to the Galena versus Clutch matchup. We've seen the Clutch on odd occasions from RAISY, from Sib as well on the odd occasion as well, going into Ruins. But of course, Galena all about the hourglasses once again and with that totem picks. And we'll have to see how Xron's going to fare up against the Clutch. Because his aim's been pretty damn good already though, isn't it? Especially against the Anarchy with that rail.
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to the other players. I think probably the most notable Clutch is, of course, RAISY with Strong Sage and Sib battling for who's number 2. But this is going to be a display of probably the best Clutch in the league right now. And that's scary. That's scary knowing that, especially since you've already lost 2 maps and maybe you're in your own head a little bit, especially after map number 1 that was so close and you tried so hard. I fear for Xron right now. And I think chat does as well, as taking a look at the predictions. Somehow, 11% against a Clutch. I don't even understand you, chat. You don't make any sense. How are you giving him the highest prediction against RAISY's Clutch? I don't understand any of you. But here we go, map number 3. We are live, and we are going to start off on RAISY's Clutch. Oh, he smells that something is off, Lethal, as he misses that rail. A little bit of machine gun damage, but yeah, this one could get brutal fast.
It certainly could, indeed. All about how and when he's going to use that shield, and when Xron can bait that shield, but he's going to be using that straight away in a perfect position in the corner, not going anywhere, and that's going to be a clean frag coming up from RAISY. Heavy's up in the next 5 seconds. He's going to preemptively go for that, but Xron could have potentially done that. Got the angle from LG, but not going to happen here, as he's going to try and contest this Mega if he can. But just not going to happen. He's got both items in place. Going to try and do a bit more damage with the LG, but RAISY's going to back away, which is understandable, but it does have the shield.
Oh my god, what a good rail. Doesn't even need the shield, but for a little bit of insurance, Lethal. That's 2-0. Misses with the rail, and this is an opportunity for Xron as RAISY. Fantastic movement. Oh, but Xron plants him before the heavy pickup. He's like, where are you going? I want to get some of those gears. 2-1. Xron keeping it close. He's got to start laying down some of those speed bumps to try and deter RAISY from just turbo around the map is kind of the play here. A lot of VTech going on right now for the Honda fans, but 130 in, only a 1-frag game.
Yeah, it's literally like watching a turbo billboard, isn't it? But the thing is, the shield is out, and Xron, he now knows there's a window of opportunity to pursue and take down RAISY, but of course, the only problem is stack is not in his favor. You did see a little bit of his head. And across the courtyard to Shoddy. Rotating back once again. And he will be greeted right in the corner, though. Some decent damage from that last rocket. Oh my god, the LG. Wow. Well over 200 damage from that last engagement. That was ridiculous in itself. But catch him again. There's a 54. Catch it. Oh, he's actually coming down. Remember, he's got the shield in place, so just needs to be a little bit patient here, but still hitting both of those rounds. 2 54s coming out. And it's interesting with how... the direct as well. He's going to try to kill him with the rail. That was beautiful stuff coming out from Xron. He's going to try and catch him on spawn. It's in the first time round, and this is just absolute chaos.
Yeah, but you got to love it.
Oh, yeah.
Going up against the clutch, you need these kind of rails. Oh, we needed that one, too. Follows up with another one. RAISY has to be like, please stop hitting me, but you're the size of a barn, RAISY. What are you going to do? And now he should go down, and there it is, switching to the buckshot from downtown. 4-2 as Xron taking the lead here, trying to gain momentum. RAISY does have the clutch, and he does have rockets in positioning on the Mega, though. There's the rocket jump. Oh, no, this could be bad. Big first rocket from RAISY on the defense, and he's just waiting, has the shield, and there it is, just right into his arms.
He certainly did. His shield has depleted. RAISY was railable mine, but of course he didn't have a rail in hand. He's got the next 5 seconds. Good rocket coming down from the jump pad as well. As RAISY needs to make a choice. Of course, Mega is coming up. Oh, he stopped him from the rocket jump as well to deny Xron from both items. That was huge.
That is when you need that old sound clip from the games that children haven't played where it's just like denied, because that was amazing and such a flick too from RAISY. Able to claim the Meggy. Meggy? I'm gonna call it Meggy now. The Mega. Yeah, she's my girlfriend. Anyways, 4-3. There's the shield, there's the play, and actually projecting him forward, and that's an easy one, and that's unfortunate. The rocket blast giving him a bit of a turbo. Able to tie it at 4. Now the cutoff with the LG. Xron has to go down again, but decent damage. But look, there's a Mega. Or the Meggy, I don't know. I haven't decided.
We'll call it Meggy for now. He's picked up the Meggy anyway. 15 seconds until the heavy. Good, because it just rhymes beautifully as well, doesn't it? As Xron now's just coming up from the LG jump pad, backing away. Hits him with 2 rounds. This could be a curtain call for RAISY, as Xron could tie this up, but looks like he has managed to, well, briefly get away. But remember, he does have shield in hand now. And I like how Xron's playing the Galena. Is now not really going for the overstack. He's just always having that totem in the back pocket, which been mixed opinions with.
What a rail.
Oh, that mixed opinions with. Oh, people like to use the totems here. But yeah, looking good so far from Xron. Just keeping RAISY on his tones, but still RAISY with that 1-frag lead.
Chad, I absolutely love you here. As RAISY has the 1-frag lead as we're getting closer to the midway point of this one. He's claimed the, we'll call it Heva, I think I saw in chat. Heva and Meggy now at play. What a great rail from the half wall. Oh, but he gives up a free one again, and RAISY has the stack to kind of take these battles, but he's giving away free damage, and he does need to be careful because it's only a 1 frag game. Able to get the Mega, and this should be an easy frag. Down goes the totem. RAISY making it look easy with that shield. Does take a little bit of damage, but he's going to be able to drop onto the heavy rather quickly. Still cautious, listening, waiting. Doesn't want to take any extra damage before picking up that heavy, but looking solid right now for RAISY.
Yeah, it certainly is. 10 frags between them, and we're only just at the halfway stage here on Ruins. So Meggy is up. RAISY now just looking to circulate around. Will be greeted by Coroni. The problem is he is trapped in courtyard, but he's managed to get away. Comes in with the shield. Oh, the LG, the gauntlet as well. My
Get the
goodness.
puke bucket, Lethal.
Evil. Yeah.
Oh, that was disgusting. It's too early
Evil
for this.
man.
Oh, just absolutely. I mean, we saw it. We saw it. He had the bloodlust in his eyes, and he's able to pop the shield and get what he wanted. And there's the rail, but he can't get away. And a little bit extra LG just to make sure he's crispy.
Yeah. Burnt's going to be an understatement from that LG, but 7 seconds now till this heavy will appear before our very eyes. He does have shield, though. Mega's up in the next 15 seconds, so we're going to have to see exactly what RAISY's game plan is going to be. Of course, he's got all the mobility and well to get away from Quran if he wants to switch to passive posture, but of course, no need as of yet. Still got 3.5 minutes left in play. Just need to choose the right time to get that chip. And of course, pursue those items, though. So things have to slow down a little bit. RAISY now looking just to try and continue with his recovery here. Almost a nice vertical rail there coming out from RAISY. Heavy is up, though. That will be picked up by Quran. He's going to choose the right way, but will be greeted by a shield and LG. 198 from that last LG. All that work for you that Quran had to put on pick up both those items, and he has to do it all over again. But the jump up rail, the rocket jump to rail combo, lovely.
Well, it just looked like he was playing Duck Hunt right there. That was easy.
Yeah.
Waiting outside the telly with a double barrel, and he's like, wait a minute, rocket jump? And there it is. Flick of the wrist. 9-4 in favor of RAISY. He's going to get that shield back even sooner after picking up the vials, and we may see another gauntlet. Make it stop, Lethal. Make it stop.
I'm trying, mate, but it's just beyond the joke now, isn't it? Heavy still up and has been up for a decent amount of time. As Meggy's going to be up any second now. He's going to be floating on by, but RAISY, of course, now has the audio queue he needs, but it comes out with a shield instead to prioritise that kill and looking to see if Kron's going to jump on down and have a little meet and greet session, but that's not going to occur as RAISY has picked up the heavy. But at this point, yeah, 5 kill deficit, 2 minutes left. RAISY's got a huge stack. Shield's going to be up in 25 seconds. Obviously a lot less afterwards, but the good rails coming out from RAISY. He's just taking the mickey a little bit now at this point, and it's just a matter of time before RAISY potentially gets his 3-0 sweep.
Yep. Just playing defensive, doesn't need to do anything. Probably, honestly, waiting for the right opportunity to maybe hit him in the cheeks with the gauntlet one more time because it's RAISY, and I think he knows that he has this one in the bag. All the pressure on Xron. But still, all things considered... Oh my god, the double Ds. Oh, please, RAISY. Get the bucket. Lethal, get the bucket. Oh.
I got the bucket preemptively for you even before the
Good
show started,
Lord.
so I've got you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. That's why I love you dearly. As a minute 15 left. And unfortunate for Xron. Unfortunate. Again, the display on map number 1 was fantastic. Just missing out in sudden death. Map 2 a little bit more intense, especially playing from behind as a Nyx. And then the end boss. You play the clutch on map number 3. That's just the icing on the cake for RAISY. As 1 minute until we can make this official, RAISY goes up 3-0 over Xron.
Yeah, pretty crazy, isn't it, compared to what we saw at the very start of this map, where Quran was playing like scrims clutches for days, like 20 scrims a day, every day for the last like 365 days of this year, and all of a sudden RAISY was able to adapt and be able to change his thought process a bit on how to perform with clutch in the course of this map. But yeah, 30 seconds left, still 10-4. Of course, confirmed that it's going to be a 3-0, and he's just continuing. Are you right, mate?
It's just crazy. Like, he just posts up outside the telly, and then he's able to just flick and be like, oh, you're this way? No problem. Like,
yeah.
What do you do? What do you do against that? Oh, no, but he misses the buckshot point blank. A jinxed it. Caster's curse.
Oh, the rail comes out from Xron, but looking to try and finish it. But of course, with the shield, not going to happen. We're 3-0 for RAISY. We knew that was that for the last couple of minutes. It was just a victory lap, so to speak. But yeah, RAISY comes out on top. But still, incredible first map. Xron's had 70%. I know it's gets a clutch, but still, his rail has been on point throughout the entirety of this series, isn't it? You know, against his Eisen earlier, his Anarchy, and we know that clutch it's as big as a billboard. Still a pretty damn good percentage.
Yeah, are you saying his rail was pretty clutch? I like that. I like what you're doing there, Lethal. No, I mean, it was. Defensive play from Xron was great. Unfortunately, just not enough because, again, the relentless energy from RAISY, regardless of champion, is going to be there, and you need to be perfect on your plays. As we take a look at the highlight reel from map number 3, Xron had some great frags, great plays. RAISY, in the end, able to take it. 10-4, brother, I tell you what. That play, just kind of darting into the T-Con, knowing that RAISY was right there, was a little bit of a layup for RAISY. And the shield was just all insurance. And there we have that, the brutality. Cover your eyes, children. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you really do, don't you? Telegraphed that extremely well during the second half of that map. But there we go. That's the percentages. That's the damage for you. Got 70% from Xron and 48% from RAISY. It's a little bit unfortunate for Xron. He's very, very close to taking that first map and put on a stellar show in this series. Probably a series I wouldn't say was obviously extremely one-sided, but we knew that Xron has the capabilities to, you know, maybe scrape a map by if he could. But sadly, he could not. But just joining us, that was the first series of the day. And the first map, not too shabby at all from our young man from Xron there. Was almost taking that first map, of course, RAISY toppling and Molten Force. The score definitely does not reflect what we witnessed earlier. And yeah, Xron put up a good fight at the beginning of Ruins, but yeah, it was just didn't have much to show for it in that second half. But good show nonetheless. It shows he's got a lot of potential throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, you gotta hope that he picks it up, though. I mean, we're getting closer and closer into the season, or further and further into the season, rather. Still got a ways off before we get to the finals, but again, you don't want to be in that first day of just sharks, right? You want to try and punch your ticket into day two, excuse me, and it's gonna take a lot of work for Xron, given that he's now 0-5. Rough start for Xron, but fantastic display from RAISY, able to get the gauntlets that he needs, that I feel like power him as a human being. But yeah, fantastic first set. That first map was absolutely fantastic. If you missed it, rewind, go watch it. Not now, there's a lot of the show left, but later, because it was fantastic on Veil. But that's first set done, and we still got 6 more on the way, so we're going to take a quick little break. We'll be back with more Quake. Don't go anywhere.